morning. Mike Arnold trying to get here if I could hit the right button. So, how's everyone doing today? Just had a little button mishap, but I hope the rest of the live stream goes better than that. Welcome. Mike Arnold here, co-founder of Path Trading Partners, along with Bob Iacchino, who should be on in the afternoon most Tuesdays and Thursdays, and sometimes in the morning if something really comes out that is important. This is going to be a super interesting week. And again, we're in tactile trading mode. Things can shift day to day. Things can shift intraday based off stuff coming out. You still have the Russian-Ukraine situation. We have quarter end. We have Fed speakers. We have a full-blown economic calendar this week. So you will want to stay tuned. And if you are new here, you'll want to be subscribed to this channel, ringing the bell, and clicking on that like button. And long-term viewers like Christoph, Ken, and Davey, who are here right now live, please do like the videos, and if you have a chance, leave some comments. So again, Davey, welcome. Ken, yeah, happy Sunday. We will take a look at Tesla. Again, this is going to be, the macro is still going to trump the micro. Hello, Christoph. Hey, Christoph, thank you for the buy me the coffees and your comments on the sector analysis video. I try to get out a weekly sector analysis video. It just posted a little bit before this live stream, so that is something else to help focus your stock picking, and then you fine tune it with this. And when we expect rollover and pullback plays, and you can look for pullbacks in those strong sectors and with the stronger stocks. Good afternoon, Jake. Hope you are well. So, and we still have earnings going on. I know we have Micron this week. Micron. So, let's take a quick look at the economic calendar. Tomorrow, trade balance and retail inventory is more of a minor thing. Tomorrow's the one sort of brief respite in this week. Remember, 31st is Thursday, and you naturally, with month end, you get window dressing. With quarter end, you especially get window dressing. What is window dressing? It's when the when funds and everything else try to adjust their positions and bump stuff up to make their portfolios look better going into especially quarters. Quarter is more important than monthly. So the first quarter this year would be January, February, March. That's why it is ending. So we have good trades in retail inventories. Tuesday. Oh, and sorry, I will keep an eye on, even though it's a low priority, the Dallas Fed Manufacturing Index. Williams speaking right off the bat. House price index, which will be really interesting. But most important, consumer confidence. And there's some other housing stuff in here. So Tuesday really starts picking it up. Again, more Fed speak and consumer confidence. Wednesday, you get all of the mortgage information. Then 7:30 Central, you get GDP growth rate for the Q4. This is backwards looking, and this is the final number. Okay, but really important, you have the core PCE prices. We know how important that is to the Fed. So that's going to be a big number coming out. So there's lots of stuff Wednesday morning. Then you, of course, you have your oil stuff at 9:30 Central. Thursday, March 31st, so end of quarter and end of month, you have, the PCE price index year over year, core PCE price index year over year, very important. Jobless claims, very important. Personal spending, personal income, very important. And then you have Williams speaking, Fed Williams. So lots of stuff on month end. And then April 1st, you have non-farm payrolls, unemployment rate, and everything to go with that. And you have ISM manufacturing PMI, which is going to be interesting coming in there. So, and then even once we're done with the week on Saturday, you have Fed speaking again. Now, I mentioned earnings. We are still in earnings season. I know some people who follows this watch XPeng, so that's before the open tomorrow. We got Micron after the close on Tuesday. So we will definitely take a look at that. Hey, all you pet lovers. Again, dad to 5 rescue dogs. You got Chewy coming out on Tuesday after the close. Oh, by the way, Lucid Diagnostics on after the close on, Monday, had my mouth was working faster than my brain. Sometimes happens to me. No jokes, please. What else do we have? Anything else that I'm really? I'll pay attention to Thursday again. Walgreens. Uh, there's been some interesting plays with that stock. You remember when BlackBerry was a thing? Everybody remember that from like 15 years ago? Where have they gone? So, and then nothing on Friday. So that's where we sit with that. Let's see. Hello, hello, Wavy. Happy Sunday to you. End of the month window dressing, as you say. Yep. I wonder, is it going to be ranch, blue cheese, Thousand Island? What's the end of the month dressing? Friday, again, it was sort of a mixed bag. Oops. Some stuff up, banks up big. Again, I talked about the financial sector being strong in the sector overview. Lots of stuff that's been leading the charge was running out of momentum, especially the mega caps. So we're going to take a look at that in context. So let's start looking at the price action. Fed watch for May, 50 basis points still favored. So we're at a quarter point now. That would take it to 75 basis points total. But I just keep an eye on this, especially with the Fed speakers. Zero gamma still 44.90. So we are still in positive gamma territory. And if we continue to move up, again, it dampens the moves even more. So keep that in mind. If we start dropping back down to this 4,500 area, and then slip 44.90, we start getting it slowly into negative gamma territory, which amplifies moves. So let's see here. BlackBerry founders went to my University of Waterloo in Canada. Yes, they were treated like kings here. I bet. I remember when BlackBerries were the big thing. I remember having one with a little mini keyboard before the iPhone came along and kicked their butt. All right. This is why I'm saying this is going to be interesting. So we have the S&P up here, which still is not closed above that key 62.5% level. Could very well this week. We are in very overbought with some waning momentum. So here's RSI. You see, even with this push higher, it can't get to this prior peak. So we're getting waning momentum on the daily. Again, we've had some divergences coming up. It looks like we're still trying to push up, but we still have exceeded the peak back on the 18th. And if I come back to the daily here, I hate when this happens. You rolling over in, I'm trying to incorporate a couple other things for people. So rolling over momentum this is a custom stochastic RSI. So that's what I'm starting to watch. We are rolling over momentum. And divergence is forming up here. Does that mean it has to stop? Well, I'm expecting, the push to try to kick in, especially Wednesday, Thursday on a higher move. Are we going to get a pullback before then? So that's what's going to be interesting. If we do get a pullback, again, majorly overbought, but it can still go higher. Key area I'll be watching going into was this little resistance shelf back from the 22nd. That was tested again on the 24th. So I'm watching that with the overnight with the 4-hour rotation zone. If we do drop below that, I'm paying attention to the low on Friday, about 44.90. And remember, that's the gamma flip area. This is how close we are to the gamma flip area. So keep that in mind. If we pull back beyond the 4-hour rotation zone, then my major level I'm watching is back between 44.70 and about 44.55. Why there? We have the 50% harmonic from this whole down move. So that's from the highs, back at the beginning of January, back to these lows in February. So that's going to be key, even on a retest. And you see that support shelf right here with the daily rising rotation zone and the 200 just in front of that. And the 200 is an area. So that's not the hard stopping point. My harder stopping point is about this 44.55 area. 44.54. So if we do start pulling back Monday, Tuesday, that's the key area I'm watching. And then major support comes in about 43.90 to 4400. So that is going to be very key area on any pullback to watch for. And that does still keep it in bullish mode. So we could, Do I do, I mean, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. Do I love this rally? No, it's getting overdone. You still have a lot of juicing in junk. So the junk is getting juiced, but that doesn't mean we can't trade it effectively. Higher areas, we got minor 45, 50, 75. Then major cluster going on tomorrow should be rallying about 45, 62. And then above there, 46.11. But remember to watch this 45, this blue line right in here. This blue line on a closing basis, 45, 43, 25. Pay attention to that on a closing basis. Let's see. Hey, Dan Jett, did you see Shanghai is starting to lock down parts of the city? I did see that news come out earlier. It's going to be interesting with everything going on. With everything going on, it's just going to be one of those trading years. It's going to be a doozy. So strap in and hang on. So that's the upside and downside stuff I'm watching overnight. NASDAQ again starting to roll over momentum here, starting with some divergences here coming up on this last little push higher. So losing momentum, finishing off Friday with just a slight down close, but a very doji-like day. Key support coming in for me now is about 14,426 on the daily. And on the 4 hour, about 14,604. So we start dropping below 14. I just go to 14,600. We start dropping below that. I think we could see a pretty quick return on the daily to the hooking up 50 and the rotation zone 14,425. So that's going to be my first key support. And then my major support is coming in between about 14,200 to about 14,250. Right at the lower end of the rotation zone is resistance also becoming support. Hello, Eric. Glad to have you. To the upside, again, overnight, I'm keying off this rotation zone. So as long as we don't drop down there on at least a 1 hour close, then I'm still watching for that to hold. 942 is really the first area of resistance I'm watching. And then if we get above there, 15,077. And if you see here, it's into over here, this section, we have a clear path move. And this harmonic is coming in right at the top of this area. So I'm going to be paying very close attention, not just for tomorrow, but if it continues on a multi-day rally to that 15,077. And then if that continues, the next key area is the 62.5% from this whole down move. And you know how important that is on the closing basis. And that's where the next the harmonic is too. So 15,321, all set. 15,077 is just below this 200 simple area and this prior resistance area. I already talked about that clear path. So that's going to be major, major resistance on any rally. Dow, my major support, I'm going to go through the Dow a little more quickly today. Major support about 34,280 to 34,330 is my major support. Coming up against the flat 200, if we break through there, I'm really going to key off about 34,998, so 35,000, then 35,120, then 35,448. Same deal here, although the 4 hour rotation zone is pretty close. I'm watching Friday's lows. The day session lows, not the overnight lows. The day session lows, 34,522. We start dropping below there. Then I'm watching for a pullback to around 34,254 to 34,275. All right, Russell, the play for me this week, if we do go into bullish mode, then it's above this 2084 area with a little quick run to about 2136. Don't want to see it really dropping back below 2045 on a closing basis. DAX still in this. This is definitely, I hope you know, two kinds of burning off overbought conditions. So this is just a beautiful, pure sideways move. Okay, so you see running up here. See coming up, getting close to that overbought condition. Definitely overbought on these momentum indicators down here. And you see, here's a great example. This is why I'm trying to show people some more examples of things. You see how it's burning off its overbought condition by moving sideways. So, where does that leave us? This gets into either the breakout play for me, which is about 14,600. We have the 50 right there and the high from the 23rd of March, or to breakdown play below about 14,190. Then I'm targeting a pretty quick run back to about 13,950. So those are the plays I'm watching there. Crude, really nice. I don't know if people spotted this, but a really nice double bottom play here. Coming up here, it looked like it on the 1 hour. It had this little bigger hitch in here, but here's the move that started it. And you see stalling out at the second target so far, but still completely in play. So if we do push up, I'm watching 114.68 for a possible intraday play. On a pullback, my key support's coming in at 111. If we start breaking through 111, then we're back below the 4-hour rotation zone, and I start really focusing on that bigger pullback. My first key area would be about 105.70, and then dropping below there, we're into a clear path move. So I know I've got a lot of lines on here. Sorry about that. I'm going to take off a couple of them just to clear some of this up. If we start dropping below that, then I'm watching for a retest of around this $95 to $100 mark. We're getting some interesting sell setup potentials in commodities this week too. Some of the other things I follow, lots of things are setting up for weekly and daily sell setups. So again, those haven't confirmed yet, but that's what I'm keeping an eye on. And we could start getting some bigger pullbacks in the commodity sectors. I went through that in my sector overview. Still very bullish on commodities. I mean, insanely bullish, but I love these pullbacks to start happening to reestablish some great core positions. Gold. So if we start pulling back, you could even see in this inflationary environment some pullbacks in gold. Still watching for gold. It's got this sort of key move up, but it's still far away from the head and shoulders top neckline again. So, and pausing here inside day on Friday. So I'm paying attention either to break down below Thursday's lows or to break out above Thursday's highs for my next little potential short-term play. Silver, inside bar, also triggering this horribly sloppy double bottom. And this is a great example. Where do I watch on pullbacks to buy? Between the peak of the double, 25.77, and I draw a line here at the height of the candle bodies, and I watch for pullbacks, and you see pullback right in that area. So going to be watching for a break above there. It's all over though if we get back below 24.70. Notes. This is going to get interesting. Here was our harmonics. Let me move this out of the way. You see here. Here's our cluster area. Headed down there. I mean, this is just... This move is insane for 10-year notes. And we are getting very oversold, and we're losing some momentum. So I am watching for some bottoming play in here. I am definitely watching. This was, remember, this green harmonic right here, this 120, 123, was back from a projection back in at the 10th of February. Once we had this little pausing, the 10th through the 15th of February. That's when this projection was made, and we've just hit that area. So, and by the way, that double never even triggered. But I am watching for a bottoming play and possibly a sharp reversal. Now, what is interesting here, and this isn't just for notes, it's across the whole Treasury curve, we could, if we start getting a bigger pullback again in stocks at some point, we could see a flow back into some of these notes and bond plays. Or if something escalates in not a good way with the Russia-Ukraine situation, or something where it'll go sideways with China and Taiwan or something else, there'll be a rush into treasuries. But it's giving us, just from a technical perspective, that we could see and I think this would be a strong bounce. Why do I say that? We're getting very overextended from the weekly rotation zone all the way back at 125.18. So you could see a pretty quick retracement on that at some point. We'll take a look at the yield curves in a bit. Let me just peek in at dollar index. We still have holdings. This is pretty much a sideways correction. To the downside, we still have a potential double top, or confirmed but not yet triggered on a closing basis. So it's either a breakdown or breakout play for this thing. But again, the dollar index is just burning off its overbought condition you see here by moving sideways. And momentum starting to roll over. That's why I'm still really focused on that double top play. You asked about yield curve. So right now, you have the 30-20s inverted. You have the 10-7s inverted. See, here's the zero line. You have the 10-5s inverted. Here's the zero line. You don't yet have the 10-2s inverted, which is one of the major key ones you can see here. The line is, we're about 20 basis points above the inversion point. So that's the key one to watch. Now, just because you might have the Treasury, a bunch of things in the Treasury bottom and rally, this yield curve can still continue to decline. It's just what's going to rally more. Okay, the 10s or the 2s. So that's where you got to keep that in mind. And that's the major shorter end of the curve right there. If you look here, again, it'll be interesting. I'm keeping an eye. Here's the 30-year bond yields. It looks like we could be getting a double top. So mortgage rates have gone up a lot. And those actually key off the 10-year more than the 30-year. But if we do get a double top trigger in here, mortgage rates means we probably get a pullback also in the 10-year. 10-year. After getting up close to our next harmonic target. And then we'd start seeing a short-term decline possibly in mortgage rates, which would... I think there'll be one last hurrah in the housing sector before that starts to roll over, especially if we get a pullback in mortgage rates. And there could be some interesting plays in bonds. That's what I'm watching for. But it's interesting with that 30-year potential weekly double top. We could see a multi-week pullback in some of these things. Or that was on the daily, a multi-day pullback. What else do we have here? Other stuff I am watching. Let's take a look. I know Ken asked about Tesla. Again, so far, Tesla, very, very overbought. I saw something today, was that their head of their full self-driving is on like a 4-month sabbatical. I think I saw that. Tesla's been shrugging off everything. So the key area for me is watching this little breakout or breakdown play. We have a tight little horizontal channel up here. So going into tomorrow, it's about 992. 992, I start watching for the bigger pullback. Remember, we got some clear paths down here and really above about 1018. Then I watch for that breakout play, a retest of this high area about 1040. And then the harmonics stay the same, 1046, 1053, and then 1076. The breakdown play, you can see first little area I'll be watching for some support is about 980 to about 985. Then we get below there, you can see a quick run. That's the only way we start getting below here. Then I start watching for that pullback to 936. So that's that. I see another thing popped up. Hold on, let me get to another interesting play I'm watching this week. Amazon. Amazon, we have a little potential double top, which would be the pullback play potentially to about 3075. Your levels are 3137, 3105, and 3075 area. Also, remember we have this weekly double has triggered. And even with this pullback, it would not invalidate it. So this pullback, if you are bullish on Amazon, could be a little area to buy. Or if it just keeps rocketing up, I'm especially going to start watching it. It's stalling against its 200, but if it can get a close above 33.35, then it could easily make a run higher. So that's where I'm keeping a real tight area. There could be bullish and bearish plays in Amazon. I'm interested in mRNA and PEG from the long side. Let's take a look, Christoph. As long as it holds, this is Moderna. You know, when you're still in that healthcare area. Right now, pulling back, broke above this key resistance, now pulling back to the rotation zone. If you can get a rotation back above Friday's high, it could be an interesting play to the long side. Again, it's got capped overhead. So my thing is still, it gets a little challenging with reward to risk, because at least raising a stop at this 199 to 200 area in the top of the weekly rotation zone, it's still, that's a tight target. So it would only be a very scalpy play for me right now. If it starts breaking back down below this daily rotation zone, then, you know, I'd be keying off of this 50 to 62.5, and if it can't hold that, it's going back to the most recent lows. Now, the healthcare sector is still very strong, so we'll have to see if this can hold up and become a leader or not. It's so far, we've got a bounce off the lows, but it's been lagging in terms of a lot of this. So you're going after the clear path to the 200, really? Just pay attention, because here's where your 200 is. All right, your 200 is all the way up here. Pay attention. Yeah, you have a clear path, but you still have the weekly rotation zone, and this isn't a strong bottoming formation yet. So keep that in mind. This, from my perspective, this would definitely be, if you're going for the big play up here, it's got a lot of things to chew through, though. So this, my first raising stop would be 199.60 area. Let's take a look at PEG. That's an interesting breakout play. So this is in the utility sector. Again, I went through utility sector. Utility sector really strong. You can see here, resistance, 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 breaking through. And this is a new close. This is where it's helpful to keep an eye. Oops. Remember, closes are key. So where's my line chart? So you see, this is, remember all the resistance in here. This is a new closing high above this double peak close they couldn't break out before. So this is really interesting, even on a pullback. So completely like that play. Really like that play, even on a pullback. Where you don't really want to see it break below is about 67 bucks, though, even on a pullback. If you want a little more conservative, about 66, but you don't want to see it break below that, else you could see a quick return to the 200. But that's a very interesting play. Mike, I spoke with a good friend who has livestock. He says he's paying 220% more this year for fertilizer, and as a result is using the bare minimum. I'm seeing a lot of stuff. By the way, in the Discord server, I added a new section called articles, and I did post a couple articles there this weekend. One of them has to do with farming and fertilizer and everything else, and also weed killer and lots of stuff. So you should definitely go read that article. Then there's another one in there that's fascinating about valuations and the bigger long-term perspective that I think it's very well done. Oh, sharing in reference to the awesome article you shared in Discord. Yeah. So yes, thank you for sharing that. Again, if you haven't read that Discord article or the Discord articles I posted, please go do that. And if you're not a member of our Discord server, it is incredibly cheap. It is a one-time fee that is very, 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 very inexpensive. The whole point of it is to get a community of strong investors, traders, and people sharing their thoughts, not something to make money. The fee just pretty much covers my administration cost to get everything set up. So What else? Gonna keep an close eye on Apple. Very overbought, very overbought. Watching for a pullback in here. Short term is 172. If we don't hold that, then I'm watching the rising rotation zone and this prior resistance and the trend line to kiss it goodbye. So around this 168, it could be a nice little buy area. And that's in the 4 hour rotation zone too. So that's where I'm watching for a potential play this week. Also, uh, these things are so overbought though. I'm watching for some pullback plays. Nvidia with the rising, as long as it can stay above this key resistance becoming support, could be another little pop higher. With this pausing area, I just want to get an idea, especially with quarter end. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft. Again, I still, if we get another push higher, I'm still interested in the mega caps and some of the growth stocks. Microsoft, very interesting. If it can starts to really break above Friday's high, we could see a quick run to 311. I'm also watching because there's a great stop level on this because we have this little double. So as long as it stays above 297.76 on a closing basis, I'm still bullish in there. If we get a close below that, we could see a quick pullback to 290. But this could be an interesting play. It's developing this little resistance shelf. It tried to stay above, but if it can get some momentum above there and stick above that 200, we could see a quick little play back to this 311 area. What else do we have? Thinking if there's anything else. By the way, here's those ratios, the ratios we follow. Here's value to growth. You can see it was growth. On longer term, I'm still very bearish on this. It'll favor value over growth. But short term, we talked about this before this rally, start looking for the growth plays. We got the rally and growth. As long as growth hangs above about 190 on the ratio basis, it's just an orderly pullback. Here's the other one, value versus growth, the other metric, still holding above this key resistance with the rising rotation zone. So we could easily make another growth push higher before this market tires out in the long term. And here's your mega caps. Mega cap, just slight pullback. I'm going to be watching if we continue to pull back about 0.51 right in here, this area. Where I don't want to see, I think it would be all over for mega caps if it dropped below this key area. I got to get more decimal points on this. I got to figure out how to do that. But that's where we sit with that. Bitcoin closing in really, really interesting here. Let me take off some of this longer term stuff. Could trigger a double bottom play, so got to keep an eye on that. Looks like it's really starting to take off recently, so that would be the next target area for me, would be this 50,760 to 51,621 area. With that, unless I see something else popping up, what do you think of semis at the moment? Oh, I forgot to look at Micron too. Semis, I'm still watching for another rollover play, but it is holding above the 200, so this is neutral mode. As long as we don't drop below 261.50 area again, I will watch for pullback plays in it. So longer term, I'm still bearish, but short term, I can be in a bullish mode. That's where we sit. Micron's going in earnings, but this I just don't like the chart patterns unless it can get above this 81.30 area. Above there, we're into a clear path move. That's the only play I see on that. Otherwise, it's a gamble play. If it starts breaking down, we still have a gap fill there. But semis, again, just watch your daily rotation zone, and if it's really holding this 200 for a few days, we could then see a pop. My next target would be up to about 2288, and I would not pick Micron. Wouldn't be my strongest semi play in there. All right, with that, I'm going to call it a day, an afternoon, finish up some more work, then take a break. Hope everyone has a fantastic rest of their evening. I will keep doing the morning live streams for the time being. So please tune in tomorrow so we can take a look at the Asian and European price action and help fine tune our levels for tomorrow. Again, you are welcome, Christoph. By the way, if you are new here, please do consider subscribing, ringing that bell, and hitting the like button. Longer term viewers, please leave some comments and like the videos. And Davey, I hope you have a wonderful afternoon also. Everyone, thank you for watching, and also on other platforms like Twitter, Facebook, and ShareVision. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye.